Day 30 Word of God, Joshua chapter 23 verse 10. 1 man of you shall chase 1,000. For the Lord your God, he it is that fighteth for you, as he hath promised you. Joshua chapter 23 contains Joshua's farewell address to the Israelites. Joshua, who succeeded Moses as the leader of Israel, led the people in the conquest of the Promised Land. In his farewell speech, he reminds the Israelites of God's faithfulness, encourages them to remain obedient to God's law, and warns them against turning to other gods. Verse 10 emphasizes the miraculous victories God has given them and reassures them of God's continued support if they remain faithful. 1 man of you shall chase 1,000, signifies the extraordinary victories that the Israelites experienced with God's help. This hyperbolic expression underscores the overwhelming power of God's assistance, enabling a single Israelite to defeat many enemies. For the Lord your God, he it is that fighteth for you, explains the source of their victories. It is not by their own strength or numbers that they prevail, but because God himself fights on their behalf. This reflects a recurring theme in the Old Testament, where God is portrayed as a divine warrior who ensures the success of his people. As he hath promised you, refers to the numerous promises God made to the Israelites regarding their conquest and possession of the Promised Land. God's faithfulness to his promises is a central tenet of Joshua's message, encouraging the Israelites to trust and obey him. In Judges chapter 7, God reduces Gideon's army to just 300 men to demonstrate that victory comes from him, not from numerical strength. With God's help, Gideon defeats the Midianites, Judges chapter 7 verses 7-22. David, a young shepherd, defeats the giant Goliath with God's help, showing that God can grant victory regardless of physical size or strength. 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 45-47. The Apostle Paul frequently expresses confidence in God's power to achieve victory in spiritual battles. He encourages believers to rely on God's strength rather than their own. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9-10. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10-11. Jesus' resurrection is the ultimate demonstration of God's power to overcome insurmountable odds, offering believers assurance of victory over sin and death through faith in him. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 54-57. For believers today, Joshua chapter 23 verse 10 serves as a powerful reminder of God's might and faithfulness. It encourages us to trust in God's ability to help us overcome challenges and adversaries, no matter how formidable they seem. This verse challenges us to rely not on our strength but on God's power and promises. It invites us to remember and recount God's past faithfulness in our lives as a basis for confidence in present and future struggles. Ultimately, it calls us to live in obedience to God, assured that he fights for us and fulfills his promises. God bless you and give you grace after grace.